Hello, it's Andrine, a Jewish American priestess, and I'm bringing you a reading today as we head into Leo season. It is the time of year where we are here in this Leo section. I don't know if you can see that. I'm using this new casting cloth that was given to me by my daughter, and it's really gorgeous. I'm not a really big astrology person. I know a little bit. But I love how beautiful this is, and the sun shining right in the center here really resonates for this time of year. So I'm going to do a reading for the Leo season upcoming. We've got a new moon coming in also. Maybe I'll do another reading for the new moon. In the meantime, let's do some Leo readings. And I'm going to use my oracle cards, the ones that I made in my workshop with Kohenet Or. I have a little set here of cards that I made, and I don't know. I'm just see what comes out today. I'm going to choose 3 different cards, and then you can choose. Here's one. You can choose which one of these is resonating for you. 2, and we'll see what comes up for Leo season. All right, let's take a look at the cards. This is card number 1, and we have Sacred Light, Not for Sale. Card number 2, it says Live by Intuition and Consciousness of Fire. And card number 3, Shh, the Stillness That Lasts. All right, so take a minute to sit with these cards and see which one of them is calling for a reading for you today, and then we'll do some Hebrunes and see what Leo season has to offer for you. I'll just put the timestamps down below in the description so you can just click on those and bring you straight to your reading. Again, card number 1, the Sacred Light, Not for Sale. Number 2, Live by Intuition and Consciousness of Fire. And number 3, Shh, the Stillness That Lasts. I'll see you in your separate readings. Welcome, card number 1. Those of you who chose this montage of a card, Sacred Light, Not for Sale. And I don't know what this is going to mean for you, but I'm just going to look at some of the images on it. We have light, like this idea of light, but the picture itself is a light bulb that is dark. And it also is shattered. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it looks like it's shattering right even as we look at it. Not for sale. And what I love about these images that came together in this card is that the light that appears in the darkness or appears to be darkness is sacred. That there's this sacredness. Even the words themselves, sacred is dark and light is light. That the sacredness is not always visible, and it is also not for sale. We cannot purchase it from anyone, nor can it be sold. So that's the first message that's coming to you at this time of year. And again, we're in the time of Leo season, which in my hemisphere is a time of heat and light. And so maybe there's a sacred light that's underneath it all for you, and that it is not for sale. You can't buy it. Like I said, you can't buy it anywhere, nor can anyone buy it from you. And I'm going to put this card on a little card holder up here at the top of our reading. We'll put it right next to the Leo symbol to remind us where we are in time. I scooch it down so we can see it while we do our reading. Okay, and then we're going to do some Hebrunes, and I think I'm going to do a handful spread today. Why not? We're just going to do a handful cast and see what comes up for you for this Leo season, which is the next basically 28 days, 29 days. This time of heat and summer, this time of Leo courage and vitality, and that sacred light is only yours. Handful, drop them down, and let's see what we got. So The first thing I'm noticing is we've got the letter shin, sort of center line almost. It's kind of got two other discs that are leaning up against it. And the shin is the letter that represents fire, right? So we're in this time of fire. The Leo sign is always about fire and sun and heat. And shin is the mother letter of fire, and it's the letter that represents the summer in the year. This time of light and heat, and it's the sun and the moon and the stars and all things hot and bright, and the sacred light also here. And sacred in terms of the shin is the first letter of the name Shekhinah, which is the indwelling presence of the divine feminine. So I'm going to pick up the letter. I wanted to leave it while it's balanced underneath these two other letters. I'll put it back when we're done there. But I love that it's sort of centering at least the center pole of this reading. The shin, which looks like fire. It looks like a crown as well. And it's got that sense of the fire that is coming to us in the year, in the summer, and also the fire that is inspiration coming to us from the indwelling presence of the divine feminine, the Shekhinah. Shin is the first letter of the word shalom as well. Shalom meaning wholeness rather than peace. I mean, it can mean peace as well, but the wholeness of bringing all the parts together. So this is in the center of our reading today, this idea of fire and the indwelling presence and the wholeness that holds us together. And I'm curious, rather than going to the other upright letters, I'm curious to see what are these other two letters that are leaning up against the shin here. Let's go to the one on the right first. And these, how I'm going to read these is anything that's face down is sort of hidden or internal. We'll go with internal. So face down on the right, we have the letter tzadi. Tzadi is the letter that is the first letter of the word tzedek, meaning justice. So there's some justice or internal justice that maybe we're not yet seeing here, but it's leaning right on the shin. So maybe the shin is like this little match or this spark, this tinder that is lighting up justice to come sometime future of this time that we're in. The tzadi also reminds me of the Asherah, which is the feminine divine that dwells in the trees, internal again. And it's the letter that's affiliated with the month of Shvat, which is the month which is affiliated with the tribe of Asher. Asher is a shortened version of Asherah. Asher means happy, and Asherah is, again, that feminine divine that lives in the trees. And it looks a little bit like a tree. The other thing it looks like is the letter Nun, that's kind of bent over and crooked, and the letter Yud. So if you put those two letters together, you get humility in the Nun with Ne'aman, and the Yud, which is a seed. So the beginning of humility, or using the divine, the Yud He Vav He, to hold us in our humility as we seek toward justice. And this, again, is internal. This is an internal thing or a hidden thing right now, leaning up against that fiery summer. So maybe in this fiery time of year, we can't see the justice coming in. But tzadi is that letter that is affiliated with Shvat, which is kind of the opposite end of the year. It happens in the winter time. But the indwelling presence of the divine feminine, the Shekhinah, and the Asherah, the one who dwells inside the trees, is here, again, centering this reading. Over on the left side of the shin, face down, we have Kuf. Lovely. Kuf is the letter that begins the word Kodesh or Kadosh, meaning sacredness. So we've got the sacred light, we've got the sacred tree, we've got the sacred divine feminine. And it's the number 100 in Gematria, so it's got this sense of bigness. 100 is 10 times 10. 10 is like 10 commandments and the 10 Sefirot and even the 10 plagues. All these things coming together to form some kind of sacredness that we're balancing out. The commandments, which are restrictions, and the divine emanations of the Sefirot, which are more creative and beautiful manifestations of the divine in each of us. So this balance is here with the holiness, the sacredness of Kuf. Kuf is also the letter that begins the word Kof, which means monkey. And so I think of it in terms of balancing our holiness with our animalistic nature, our sacred selves are a balance of both of those things. Taking in our Kedusha, which is the sacredness of the divine, and balancing it with the Kof, which is our monkey mind, our monkey self. And again, balancing that sacredness of the light and the darkness here in this card. And I love that these are both kind of inside, internal things hidden, leaning up against, maybe leaning on Shekhinah and the fire, the mother letter fire, for support. And also in some ways, you know, balancing and supporting the summer, the fire itself. Let's see, where should we go next? Let's go to the upper left. We've got the letter He. And this is the letter that begins the word Hineni, which means here I am, present and available for service. So it's the word that one says when one is called by the divine, when you hear divinity calling your name toward something. You say Hineni, sometimes even before you know what it is you're being called to do. So showing up and remaining present is really important at this time in this summer. Just showing up and remaining present for yourself, for the divine, and for anything that you're called to do, any action that you're called to do. I like that He looks a little bit like a dalet with a vav in it. So dalet is the letter that means doorway, and vav is connection. So it's like there's this doorway, we are connecting with the divine within that transition that we're making, and we're saying, I am here ready to walk through that door. I am connected. I'm feeling the connection between myself and the divine, ready to walk through. He is also two letters of the divine name, the Yud He Vav He, which is sometimes translated as the past, present, and future verbs to be. So showing up for becoming, this transition that we're becoming more of ourselves. We're becoming more of what we are intended to be within divinity. So sometimes even that shattering that's happening as sacred light fills us will be part of that transition. And I just heard my random chime go off saying, yes, that's an exclamation point. I have this random chime on my phone that just comes in sometimes when something important is said. So yeah, as we shatter, as we fill with the light of the divine, it may be difficult and painful, but we are connecting and we are showing up to say, Hineni, here I am, ready for service. So that one's here, up on the higher in the reading. Over on the right side, I think this was a little lower. This was the highest letter in the reading. Let's see what it is. It's face down. So, and that's the Chet. Okay, interesting. Chet is the letter that is, it means both life, Chai, and darkness, Choshek. So again, life and darkness, light and darkness also kind of in there, in this letter. It's the letter that's affiliated with the month of Tammuz, which is just coming to an end right now. It's this letter that is about contracts and commitments, and it looks a little bit like a marriage canopy, a chuppah. So something is about connection, and it's like the hay, but it's actually connected at the top rather than having that space there. So it's like that dalet and that vav have finally connected and become one. So there's some contract that's being made. It's the number 8 in Gematria, so it has this infinity loop inherent in it. So it kind of in some ways represents the infinite themselves, in that let there be light, and the Lord separated the light from the darkness. And Choshek is the first word that has the letter Chet beginning it in Torah. So it's a very important word. Darkness is sometimes perceived as something bad, but it's just the thing that allows us to see the light in the long run. So this is hidden. This is upside down. This is face down in our reading. So something about that. Even the darkness is hidden in this sunny time of year. We've got Choshek here being hidden from us, and knowing that the infinite is behind it, because on the back of each of the Hebrunes is the Ein Sof, nothingness, the infinite, the unknown. So I love that here, that we've got chet up high and face down, right next to the 8, interestingly also. That's very cool. All right, let's see what else. Let's go to the one next to the hay. We'll see what it is, face down. And we have Vav, fascinating. Okay, Vav is about connection. It's literally the word and in Hebrew. So we're finding some kind of internal connection. I think we're connecting probably with ourselves mostly at this time of year. This next coming season, this Leo season, we're spending some time connecting with ourselves, but also connecting with the divine, because the divine dwells within us. After all, the Shekhinah is the indwelling presence. So we have Vav here showing up to say, yeah, connection is going to be really important, but it's all happening inside of us. Outside connection, maybe not so much. So yeah, rest in that connection with divinity and self right here as we show up and say, Hineni. We have the Lamed. I'm not going to read these turned exactly, but the Lamed is the letter that begins the word Lev, which means heart, mind. And it's a little bit, it's both the heart and the mind. So it's like the heart, which tells us what is good, and the mind, which helps us to discern. And they're connected together in this way of discernment. It is the letter that's affiliated with the intestines in the body. And the intestines have this special ability to discern what is useful and what is waste. So we are tapping into our heart, mind, into our lev, and knowing what is worth holding on to and what is it time to let go of. And I love that love looks like a root going into the ground and the earth itself, and then a sprout coming up from that earth. So we have this connection and this grounding and the ability to discern here in the reading, telling us that our heart minds are going to guide us about how to move forward during this season. And Lev is also connected to Leo, the lion. It's the heart of the lion is a really important part. So Lev is sitting here. Okay, we've got 2 more letters that we haven't looked at. Let's look at this one. Face down, we have Tav. Okay, Tav is the letter that's the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So it's a stamp or a seal or a signature, something that has come to an end, and it's face down, so it's internal. And it's the letter that rules over the moon in the sky. So we are coming to the end of a month and the beginning of a new month. So the new moon is coming in, and so there's these transitions and transformations that are happening. I think of the moon as waxing and waning and teaching us that at every ending there is a new beginning. And that may again be happening internally for you in this Leo season. So if something feels like a big ending, because this is the last letter, something is stamped and sealed and finalized, maybe something is shattered like this light bulb, don't worry. That means that something new is about to happen as well, because we always have newness coming in after the darkness, after the end of a thing. A new thing always comes in, like the moon transitioning from one month into the next, happening later this week. So Tav is here near the bottom. It's sitting right on top of the words that says Saturn. Something is coming to an end and a new beginning, and it's happening inside. And at the very bottom of our reading, we have one more letter. It's the letter Zayin. And Zayin is the letter that means a sword or a scepter. And so it speaks to sovereignty. It's about having one's own sovereignty, grasping one's own sovereignty. And this I'm reading as something that is supporting us from below. Zayin is the number 7 in Gematria. And because of its 7-ness, it also refers to an ending. There are 7 days in creation. There are 7 days in the week. So something has come to an end, but it's not like a finality. It's like a beginning. Because when you come to the end of creation, then the rest of eternity up here with the Chet is happening with the infinite. Zayin being affiliated with the 7th day of creation, which is Shabbat. Shabbat is about rest. It's important to take our rest right now. And it's affiliated with the Shabbat bride, which is the Shekhinah right above it. So I love this. I love that it's also sitting on top of, what is that, Aquarius? It's water. And in this heat, this hot time of year, it's going to be important to get hydrated and to be resting in water. So that's sort of a gestation image even. I love that. So we have Zayin here giving us our own sovereignty and power through the actions of rest and hydration, and knowing the Shekhinah is there for us underneath it all as we find our way in Shabbat, in our way of rest. The divine rested on the seventh day after all of creation, not because of a need for rest, but because rest is a divine act, and we can hold on to that as well. Beautiful reading for those of you who chose the sacred light. Again, we have the Shin in the center, the mother letter of fire, with the Shekhinah and wholeness. We have Tzadi with a hidden justice that is being supported by the fire. We have the Kuf, which is sacredness, also being supported by the Shekhinah. We have the Hey saying, show up, Hineni, here I am, ready for service. We have the Chet saying, darkness might be hidden, but it is there for us to know that the infinite is supporting us. We have the Vav saying we are connecting internally to ourselves and to the divine. The Lamed representing Lev, the heart, mind, and discernment. We have the Tav saying an ending is coming, the end of the month perhaps, and a new beginning coming in inside of us. And the Zayin saying grasp your sword or scepter, grasp the power of resting for yourself in Shabbat, knowing that the Shekhinah has got you here. So for those of you who chose the sacred light today, this has been your reading for Leo season. I hope you enjoyed it. I will look forward to seeing you here next time. Hello, those of you who chose card number 2, Live by Intuition and Consciousness of Fire. This is a collage that I made. The Live by Intuition and Consciousness is a fortune cookie, and it felt like fire here with this this strong back and neck muscles. Interestingly, right shoulder. Interesting for me because I'm having a right shoulder issue. So fascinating that that's a card that came up. Maybe this is my reading for today. And fire, because we are in the summer in the Northern Hemisphere at any rate. We are in this fiery season of Leo. And this collar around this this scaffolding of this drawing is like the collar around a lion's mane. So we're living by intuition and consciousness of fire, maybe our own fire or of the fire that's burning around us. And that could be a positive fire or a negative fire. I don't know. You get to determine which is resonant for you today. Okay, I'm going to set this in this little card holder up here, right next to our Leo portion of the cloth. And then the way I'm doing the readings today is I'm going to mix up the Hebrunes and we're going to do a handful cast and see what comes down. See what's happening for you in this Leo season, what you need to know. What has the divine got for you? What is supporting you? What's happening on the inside? Let's see what comes up today. Got a handful. I'm going to drop them down. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm noticing is we've got the Zayin right near the center of this spread. The Zayin is the letter that represents a sword or a scepter. That's about sovereignty and power. The power of the divine and your own internal power, the one that you're holding on to, the thing that you can grasp to assert yourself and to have power. And what's interesting about Zayin is that it's the number 7 in Gematria, and so it's affiliated with the 7th day of creation. 7th day of creation is Shabbat. Shabbat is a day of rest. So although this letter has these connotations of power and sovereignty, it's not about action so much as it is about having the sovereignty to be able to rest and take care of oneself. The Zayin is affiliated also with the Shabbat bride, who is sometimes known as the Shekhinah, the indwelling presence of the divine feminine. So there's this sense of power and connection and rest that's all wrapped up in the Zayin. And the number 7, which is this magical number, it's a lucky number, and it says that something is finished, like a creative act has been finished, some project that you've been working on maybe for some time, maybe the creation of your universe is now at an end, and it's time to rest and look at it and say it is good. And that's right in the center of our reading for you today. So Zayin, grasp your power, take a rest, and admire what you've built so far. I think there's something really powerful about that. I'm going to go next to the one that's upper right here. I'm really called to that. And the way I'm going to read these is, if they're face down, they are internal. So we have the letter Lamed. Lamed is the only letter that reaches above the line in Hebrew. And to that end, it's affiliated with hope. It's about reaching up with hope. And it's the first letter of the word limud and lamed, which means teaching and learning, and the word lev, which means heart-mind. So there's a lot going on with the Lamed. It's about hope, it's about teaching, it's about learning, it's about taking in information, and it's about discernment with our heart-mind. The Lamed is also affiliated with the intestines in the body. So when we take in information or food or spiritual nourishment, we have to discern what is useful and what is not, and we have to release what isn't. I love that it looks a little bit like a digestive tract, like you're going to eat something here, it's going to go down into your stomach area through your intestines and then excrete it out the bottom. So we have this sense of we are being nourished by something, and we will have the discernment in our heart mind within, because this is again face down, within ourselves, to know what is the important part and what can we release when we're done with this. Our discernment is happening on the inside. We're listening to our heart and our inner mind, and we're retaining the hope that comes with the knowledge that the divine is here with us, and we are resting with the Shekhinah who has got us here. So as we are living by our intuition and our consciousness, which heart mind is all about intuition and heart and consciousness, we are being able to discern, maybe putting things through the fire and seeing what burns off. So that's happening right here, like a moon shining above us as we are heading into this Leo season. Let's go up here to the upper left. We have the Ayin. Okay, Ayin is the letter that represents an eye in the body, so it's about seeing. And it's face down, so we're seeing inside again, intuition, living by our intuition and consciousness. We are looking inside of ourselves for the answers. We're not looking outside at this season. Ayin is also the number 70 in Gematria, so it's our 7 in the Zayin times 10, which gives us this ultimate manifestation of power and an ultimate manifestation of an ending. So it could be something really big as ending inside, that we're losing something or finishing something inside of ourselves. But we'll be able to see better once that is done. Once that thing comes to an end inside, we'll be able to use our intuition and consciousness to discern with the Lamed over here what it means and see our way forward beautifully at the end of this thing. The Ayin also has this, each of the letters in the Sefer Yetzirah, which is the book of creation, are affiliated with a foundation or a transformation. And in the version that I read by Rabbi Jill Hammer, the Ayin is affiliated with the foundation of laughter. And for me, this always is saying that when we can see the end of a thing, when we can see our way through to the end of a thing, we get to laugh about it. We'll be able to get the joke, maybe at the end of maybe a difficult trial even. So there's laughter here, and it's internal laughter. Maybe we're laughing at ourselves, or maybe we're laughing just inside ourselves, because laughing out loud might be hard for other people around us. But we have this inner vision. We have the ability to have intuition, and we have the ability to have that inner laughter as whatever it is concluding in our lives. Face down over here, up high in the reading as well. Okay. Let's see. We'll go to the letter Hey. Here we are. The letter Hey, which is the letter that begins the word Hineni. Hineni is the Hebrew word for here I am. When the divine calls your name in Torah, the correct answer is here I am, available and ready for service. And with this also in the reading, it's saying show up. Be available for service when you hear the call of the divine. It's 2 letters of the divine name, the Yud, He, Vav, He. And so to that end, I think of it as half of divinity is just showing up. You have to show up and be ready in order to hear the call sometimes even. We hear the call, we have to say, I'm ready, before we even get our marching orders. Hey is also the number 5 in Gematria. 5 is affiliated with the 5 fingers on the hand, so it's about getting ready for action. And it's also affiliated with like sight and light. So interesting, we've got eyeing up here. It's about sight and light. The word light shows up 5 times in the creation story, so that's been affiliated with the letter Hey because of the 5-ness of it. It's the 5th letter. So show up, be available, let your light shine. Hey also has this interesting thing that it looks like a dalet and a vav together. So we have this doorway that's inherent in the Hey, and connection with the vav as well. So we're walking through a difficult time, maybe a transition at any rate, and we're connecting. We're attempting to connect with ourselves, with the divine, maybe with another person even. So show up and be present and available for whatever you're called to do. We don't know what that is yet. Maybe you do. But Hey is sitting right here. Next to the Hey, in the lower left, we have the Beit. Beit is the letter that means a house, and it means a home. It could mean a building of any kind. It could be a scholarly building like a synagogue or a school or even a workplace, but I see Beit as wherever you live. Like, where do you dwell? Do you dwell in your home? Do you dwell mostly at school? Do you dwell mostly at your workplace? Do you dwell in your body? Beit can be affiliated with the body. Or is it the world? Is it the world at large? Wherever you feel like you are living is Beit. And it's face down. So we're living in ourselves. I'm gonna go with Beit is about the body here, because we are living inside of ourselves. What's going on with your body right now? Are you ready? Are you showing up and being present for that? I think it's saying to listen to our body right now. Beit is the binary transformation of life and death in the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation. So there's this continuum between life and death, and Beit is, giving us a choice. Choose life, I guess, is the answer. And listen to our bodies so that we can choose life. Do right by our bodies. Make sure that we are well nourished and healthy and getting enough liquid in our bodies in this heat time, this time of fire in our lives. So find your place in your home, in your body, inside. Maybe we're going inside instead of being out in the sun. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's internal. We are being internal in ourselves right now. So find our home in where we are. We already looked at this one, right? No, we didn't. Chet. Okay, we've got Chet here. It's interesting. I did shuffle these letters. These are very similar to the ones that were showing up in the first reading, but they're in different places. Chet is the letter that begins the word Chai, meaning life. So we've got Beit here with the binary transformation of life and death, and Chai here right next to it. And Chet is also the first letter of the word choshek, meaning darkness. So we have light and darkness, which are not necessarily opposites, but can be perceived as opposites. And we're trying to balance that. How can we find life in the darkness? And how can we find darkness in our life in a way that is very positive? Sometimes getting out of the fire, getting out of the sun is a way. And it's internal, so this is face down. So we have chet here face down. And it's the number 8 in Gematria. So 8 is that infinity loop, which is representing after the 7 days of creation, that is completed. The creation is done. Then we get to number 8. That's the infinite. That's everything else that comes after the end day of creation. After Shabbat, we have to get up and live. We have to get up and find our way in the darkness. So we are here at this place of, at this time of year, of finding the internal in infinite, finding our contracts and commitments. This is also about contracts and commitments. It's got that look of a marriage canopy, a chuppah. It's also, number 8 is affiliated with the 8th day of life in a child, on which there's usually a naming ceremony, sometimes a circumcision, which is a covenant. It's a covenant with the divine, covenant with the tribe. And there are 8 days, 8 candles in Hanukkah, which is a festival celebrating dedication, rededication. So there's a lot going on with the chet about contracts, commitments, light in the darkness, and finding life where we can find it. And since it's face down here, kind of in the center of the lower part of our reading, we need to look inside, look at our darkness. Maybe we're looking at our shadow. We're finding the consciousness of our fire in this moment, but we have to look into the shadow to find that sometimes. Find the life in this moment, inside of ourselves. And then the last letter in our reading is the Aleph. Aleph down here, closest to the bottom. Aleph is the mother letter of air, and of course it is the first letter of the Aleph bet. Aleph is got so much going on with it. Aleph is, again, number 1. It's got the yud at the top, the yud at the bottom, a vav in the center, vav meaning connection. So we have this balance of the yud, which is the yud he vav he, the divine name above, and the yud below in the earth, the divine in heaven, the divine in earth, and this connection between it with the vav. Additionally, Aleph is sort of like a crossroads. We're walking down one path. We have to decide which direction to go. Are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? Are we going to go across? So we have a crossroads here at the bottom. Aleph is the mother letter of air. It's one of the creation letters in the Sefer Yetzirah, which is breath, the breath that is given to us by the divine, the first sign of life in a human and the last sign of life as we move on to the next transition. So Aleph is here at the very bottom, supporting us with breath, taking time to breathe, taking time to really listen in to the wind as it comes, maybe sitting in front of a fan in the heat, living by our intuition, living by our consciousness, maybe blowing onto the fire to stoke it if we need to, and taking a breath when we need to, when we need to take a decision, maybe stopping, pausing, and taking that breath. Aleph is the first letter of the word Adam, which means human. And it's the breath that was blown into us by the divine. Most of the names of the divine in Torah begin with the letter Aleph. El, Elyon, Elohim, Adonai, all begin with Aleph. And so that breath, that Aleph that comes from the divine and is breathed into Adam, Adama meaning mud. Yes, humans are formed from mud. Given that breath, we become human again. So take a breath. So those of you who chose this card, live by intuition and consciousness of fire. Be aware of the fire right now in the year. Be aware of it. Grasp your sovereignty and take time to rest. And listen to your heart mind internally. We've got seeing our way forward, looking to the intuition, the internal eye. We are showing up saying, here I am, ready and available for service. We are listening to and looking into our darkness inside. We are finding our home internally, listening to our body is how I'm perceiving that, and taking a breath when we need to in order to find that intuition and consciousness to get us through this time of the heat, of the summer, of the Leo season, of really grasping our own sovereignty. The sovereign animal of the kingdom is the lion. It's the Leo. So hold on to that. And I will see you here next time. Have a beautiful rest of the month of Tammuz. Hello, card number 3. Those of you chose shh, the stillness that lasts. This is when I made this, at least, it was a very peaceful card with the full moon in the darkness, in the sky, and that quietude that comes with just gazing at the full moon. The stillness that lasts. That's peace and quiet, maybe sometimes difficult to find. But I find it really interesting now, as we're in this time of summer, in this fire season, that the shh is actually the sound of the letter shin, the mother letter of fire. So there can be stillness also, I guess, in that heat that comes with the Leo season. All right, so we're going to put this card in this holder here. We can still see it. The way I'm doing these readings is shuffling them up and then dropping a handful and seeing what is up for you who chose shh, the stillness that lasts. During this coming Leo season, as we're coming into this time of power and inspiration and heat, and maybe even I don't know, performance. Leo's often affiliated with performance. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to shuffle them up, grab a handful, and I'm going to toss it down. Ooh. Okay, and we do have the shin right here in the center. We're going to start with that. So we have the letter shin, closest to the center of our reading. The letter shin, the mother letter of fire. And it is the letter that looks like fire. It looks like fire. It looks like a crown. It's got this beautiful series of yuds at the top, yud, 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 and what looks like 3 vavs coming down, plus 1 at the bottom. So fire is about connection. Vav means and so it's got all these connection pieces, and yud is like that seed. So we're connecting with seeds and sparks of inspiration that are coming in. And shin is the letter that is affiliated with the summer in the year. The sun and the moon and the stars, all things fire. So the moon in the card is here, the sun in the center of this cloth is here, and all of our stars that are represented around this cloth as well. So we've got all the fire happening. Shin is the first letter of the word Shekhinah, which is the indwelling presence of the feminine divine, the one who is known as the queen, the Shabbat queen. And she is the one who dwells inside of us and gives us inspiration to do what we need to do, the Great Mother, the creator of all. So it's right here in the center. She can hush us as we're rocked to sleep. Shh, she says. Aish is fire in Hebrew, so we hear that in the fire itself. The beginning of the word Shema, which is listen, begins with shh, and also the word shalom, which means peace, but really larger, it means wholeness, bringing back all of our disparate parts into one. So I love that this is right here in the center for you, those of you who chose this card, because the shin is so powerful, and it does correspond to that great power of the divine feminine, but it also has that calming, soothing idea of quietude and stillness. Shin is the first letter of the word shini, which means change also. So there's something about transformation that's held up in the shin. And it can be transformation through fire by igniting a kettle that transforms water into boiling water and turns it into gas, or it could be transformation through fire that burns up a field and then makes that more fertile for the next thing that is coming in. So beautiful that Shin showed up smack in the middle of this reading today, right next to the sun. Let's go all the way to the left and see what this letter is. The ones that are face down I'm reading as internal today, so we'll see what that comes up with. We have Resh. Okay, Resh is the letter that begins the word Rosh, meaning head. So it's about starting something new. Resh is right there in the first word of Torah, Bereshit, meaning in the beginning. So in the beginning of a thing, ahead. Rosh Hashanah means beginning of the year. Rosh Chodesh means the beginning of a month. And we have a Rosh Chodesh coming up this week. So the first of Av is coming, I think it's on Saturday this month. Yeah. So Rosh Chodesh is coming. We have a new beginning coming in. So we're beginning something new. And because it's also the head, it can relate to the head and the body. And because it's face down, I'm seeing it as an internal beginning. Something new is happening, and maybe we're thinking about it, we're contemplating, we are taking into consideration and planning something out, and it's all happening inside our head. We don't need to do anything external yet. This beginning is happening inside of us. Resh is the letter that is the number, is it 300? I don't have my book open right now. I'm pretty sure it's the number 300 in Gematria. Let me set it down while I look it up, because 200, sorry. 200. So Resh is 200. And that is about, 2 is the letter Beit, which means a home. 20 is Kaf, which is like a sukkah, a head of something over the sukkah, so it's something covering. And Resh is 200, so it's like the head and the body. So it goes from house to sukkah to head. So we've got our head on our own body covering us. It's like our home we're living in our head. Maybe that's what it's about. Resh is the binary transformation of seed and barrenness. In the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation, each of the letters is affiliated with a foundation or a transformation, and Resh has this sense of seed and barrenness. So there's a continuum somewhere, and we're having to determine what the thing that we're beginning is going to produce. Will it be barren? Will the seed that we're planting produce fruit, or will it not produce fruit? And that's what our intellect is about. We're thinking that way through, and we're thinking it internally right now. And it's hard in the summer. Things are super hot, and so it's likely that there's a fear around whether the thing we've planted, the beginning of the thing that we're planting, is going to produce fruit because of the heat, and we don't know. We can't see into the future, so we are just thinking about it and contemplating, and maybe thinking about what we need to do to make that produce fruit in the big picture. Okay, let's go down to, well, we've got Gimel here, and it's leaning up against something else, but let's read Gimel first. Gimel is the letter that means a foot or a camel walking forward. So there's something we're stepping forward on, and maybe that's new beginning that we're seeing here. It's stepping forward, and in fact it's like running forward, running toward justice. We're making some kind of movement right now. Maybe we're making a big move. Maybe you're making a move to someplace else physically, or maybe you're making a move like to a different work environment. But whatever it is, you're running towards something that is justice. And I say that because Gimel also rules over the planet Jupiter in the sky. And Jupiter, which is the largest of the planets, is called Tzedek in Hebrew. Tzedek, which means justice. So I just remembered that these have the planets on them. I'm trying to see where Jupiter is here. Oh, there it is. It's over here on this side. but it's running toward justice. We've got this stepping forward, and Gimel, if you cut off the heel there, looks like a letter Nun, and Nun is the letter that means humility or has humility tied up in it. But we've got a little yud at the back of it. So it's like we're coming from a place of humility and being propelled forward by that yud which represents the divine seed, that yud he vav he. So when we start out on our routine, our path, whatever it is we're walking forward on, we have to start from a place of humility. Trust that the divine is propelling us forward towards something that will be just, and know that the divine has got us from behind here. That they're the one who are causing us to want to move in that direction. So we're making something we're starting something new. We're starting something with the reish internally, and we're moving forward the next thing. And it's leaning up against this other letter. Let's see what that letter is. And it's the letter mem. Okay, mem is the mother letter of water. And it's upside down, so we've got some internal water going on. We're going to need to water stuff. We're going to need to stay cool in this this summertime. So mem being face down is saying find the water that is inside you. Find that, it's like, again, the mother letter, so it's about water that's inside, like a gestation, like an amniotic fluid. When you have the belly that is full of water to help nurture a seed that's been planted inside. And that could be a literal seed, it could be a pregnancy, it could be a figurative seed, a creative act of some kind. So we need to remember to water that and really hold that gestation inside of ourselves. The mem looks like that belly in the body, and it's got that little yud up in the upper left corner, so there's that seed coming to plant itself inside the womb. And it's underneath the gimel, so first we have to nurture it. First we have to have the mem here, gestating whatever it is, maybe sitting in that stillness while we are in the heat of the summer, and knowing that we're staying really well hydrated inside, and that we're allowing that gestation to happen so that the seed will come into fruition as we step forward toward the next thing. Over here in the lower right, we have the He, which is the letter that has shown up in all three readings today. It's the letter that means Hineni, here I am, ready and available for service to the divine. When you hear the divine call someone's name in Torah, they always say Hineni, well, almost always. They say Hineni, here I am. And it is the right answer. It's what we say to the divine when we hear our name called. I'm ready, I'm available, I will do what I'm asked to do. And sometimes we don't know what that is until we say, here I am. So show up, be here, be available, know that the divine is calling you. And when you hear that voice, be willing to do what is being asked of you. He is the number 5 in Gematria, and to that end it speaks to the 5 fingers on the hand, so it's about a little bit about action, but it's also about light. He is the number 5, and the word light shows up 5 times in the creation story in Genesis. So there's this affiliation with light and the number 5 and the letter He, which is saying look for the light, seek the light. The light is here guiding you, and if you show up, the light will guide your way. Even as we sit in the darkness, the light might be the full moon. It doesn't have to be the sun necessarily. It can be the moon as well. Sometimes the light is just a star. Sometimes it's just a firefly that you have to pay attention to while it blinks in and out. So show up, say I am here. Hineni. At the bottom of our reading, the lowest letter is the letter Pei. And Pei is the number 80 in Gematria, which is the number 8 times 10. 8 being this infinity loop, which is representative of the infinite one. And 10 times 8 being the ultimate manifestation of the infinite. So Pei is also the letter that begins the word Pa'am, meaning time. And time is a spiral. It seems like a circle, like we go around in circles and seasons in the year, but we are never quite the same person, and we are never quite in the same place. Even in the universe, the sun spirals through the galaxy. So know that we are spiraling through time, and that the infinite has us, and is holding us in their hand as they spiral us through the world and through the universe. Pe is the letter that means mouth, and it is the mouth of the divine speaking creation into existence. The first word that came out of the divine mouth was Bereshit, in the beginning, according to Torah. So that beginning is the one that's hidden over here with the Resh, is being spoken to you. It's underpinning the entire reading, this idea of speaking into creation what needs to be created. And that's for you to do as well, because as humans, we've been also gifted speech. So we have the ability to speak what we would like to see into the world and have it come into fruition, to plant seed, to create something new. So this is all about creation and about infinity holding you. It's about the mouth of the divine calling your name and showing up and saying, Hineni, here I am. So listen and speak words of blessing. Pe is the binary transformation of grace and ugliness. And that's a continuum. Sometimes we can say things that are really horrible and ugly, and sometimes we can say things that are very blessed. And it's important to ask for what you want rather than cursing what you don't want, because our words matter, and it's important to imagine a world as we would like to see it, rather than just being angry about the world the way it is. So take some time in stillness and tap into that stillness that lasts, the infinite one. And through that, speak what we'd like to see in the world with our own mouths. And then listen for the divine voice and show up and say, Hineni, here I am. Got one more letter down here in the lower left. And it's the letter Samech. Samech is the letter that is a circle, but it also has that little tiny yud in the upper left corner. So it's about cycles and seasons, and like wheels of time and wheels of fortune. But it's also about being surrounded. It's being surrounded with protection, being surrounded with family and friends, knowing that you are surrounded. It's the number 60 in Gematria, so it has a sense of the time as well. 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds in a minute. 60 seconds in a circle, I think, is the measurement. So know that you are protected. Know that you are surrounded with protection. It also in the Proto-Hebrew was a pointy letter that looked like a thorn. So, and it's got that vestigial thorn in the upper left corner. So there's a thorn here. And so you're protected, but you're protected by thorny hedges. Sometimes they might be a little sharp to other people, but that's necessary for our own protection, for our stillness that lasts. We might need to have a little bit of a thorn, like a rose has a thorn, to protect its beauty. So know that you are protected, and it's an internal protection. It's coming to us from inside. It's coming to us from the divine, and it's coming to us in a way that we need to protect ourselves rather than relying on others to protect us. So that's because that's face down here on the reading. So, shh, the stillness that lasts. Shh, shin, shama, listen to the voice. Show up and say, Hineni. Trust in the Shekhinah, the indwelling presence of the divine feminine. Know that the infinite has got your back. Know that you are surrounded with protection. Also, begin the new thing. Think about it. It's inside you. Recognize that a new beginning is coming. And step forward. Step forward and let that gestation happen inside of you. Let the mother of water, Mayim Haim, the waters of life, bubble up from within. Let Miriam, the prophetess, nourish you with fresh springs of water inside this hot season. And then you'll have the ability to step forward with your gimel on your path toward justice. I hope this was resonant for you in this Leo season. Those of you who chose the stillness that lasts. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, I guess. And I'll look forward to seeing you here next time.